I'm Susan McNeil, a writer and filmmaker. Welcome back to my vlog. So as a little girl, I remember one day my mom told me to spread my bed. And when I did, she looked at me and said, "Do you know what being a Gimper is?" And of course, I had no idea. And she explained that a Gimper was someone who didn't just do things to do them, they ensured they were perfectly done. So if a Gimper was going to spread her bed, she made sure her bed was perfectly spread. And as a kid, I hated that term because it just meant more work. But the older I've gotten, I've learned to appreciate it more and more. So if you Google the term being a Gimper, a bunch of things will come up. But the term she was referring to was coined by a guy named Dr. Richard Soom, and he applied it to Christianity. He said, if you're going to be a Christian, you might as well be a good one. Don't adhere to the status quo. Don't be mediocre. Be a real Christian. So, like being back in Nigeria, my country of birth, every day I ask myself, I ask the question, why can't we all be Gimpers, even just a little bit? So just a few days ago, I went to the licensing office to write my driver's, test. And so I was a bit nervous as I got there because there was no, study materials provided, and I wondered how I was going to pass this test. And I voiced it out to the lady as she was handing out the papers, and she said, "Don't worry, you can't fail this test." And I'm like, "How?" And she pointed to the wall, and the exact the answers to the questions were right on the wall. Like there were, symbols of road signs, and then the same pictures would be on the wall. And so we all just copied. And then that was the first half of the test. The second half was projected on the wall, and it had so many factual and spelling errors that I had to raise up my hand a few times to go, "Ma'am, this question is wrong. This question doesn't make any sense." And in our presence, she changed the questions. And then the guy who owned the place came and said, "But yeah, you find this test relevant, right? You find it, helpful?" And of course, the answer is no, I'm not learning anything. But I was like, yeah, whatever. And then when I was done, they didn't even mark it. They just put it in the file and sent me up to, for capturing. And I asked, "Isn't there a driving test?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, how can there not be a driving test? That's literally how you know that people can drive. And you know what? It makes perfect sense. That's why 90% of the people here in Lagos especially, they cannot drive for shit. I can't even look at the road when most drivers are driving because I have mini heart attacks. I call it organized chaos. It's crazy. It's incomprehensible. I can't even describe it to you. You have to see it for yourself. And so as the time is drawing near, I have no idea how I'm gonna drive. It's crazy. Even in the bus on the way to the licensing office, there was traffic, and the guy was doing several maneuvers, and he ended up crashing through this fruit seller stand. He completely wrecked the table. The fruits went flying everywhere, and it was absolutely ridiculous. And I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be driving. And it's ridiculous. Back to being a Gimper, you're a licensing office. Why would you not make sure that the people you let on the road can actually drive? It doesn't make any sense. If, God forbid, I had an accident and died, well, it's technically their fault because they didn't make sure I can drive, and they didn't make sure anyone can drive. All they cared about is just, okay, you pay your money, and, they did the test to fulfill all righteousness, and that's it. And it's terrible. It's wrong. And you see this in other sectors in, here in Nigeria, where people just do things to do it, and they don't care that it's, done properly. So let's just try, people. Let's just try to be Gimpers. We're only doing ourselves a disservice and doing our community at large a disservice by just, half-assing everything we do, by just doing things to fulfill our righteousness. It doesn't help in the long run. So anyway, I got my license. God help me. I got a license I don't deserve, and I just pray that I make it on the streets and don't die. Please pray for me. Anyway, try and be Gimpers, people. It will only help yourself in the long run. Take care until next time. Bye-bye.